A lot of fantasies on this list. Next, and this cover is a mess. Did not take care of this book very well.
1, 2, 3, let's switch this up.
Welcome back to another video. Today, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be going through the list of all these series that I've either started and want to finish or haven't started but want to finish in the year 2023. If you're interested to see what's on my list, then keep on watching. I have all of the first books for this series that I'm going to go through. The first two I'm not going to spend too much time on because I've talked about these books in these series and other videos, so I will put a card and link them down below if you want to check those out in my reading wrap-ups when I've finished the first book of these two series. And the first one is, as you can probably tell because it was sitting right here, A Court of Thorns and Roses by, Sarah J. Maas. So this book follows Farah, who is a human. She kills a wolf, and as punishment she has to go live in the fairy world. And I use air quotes around punishment, one, because if you read the book, then you get to the plot twist and you're like, ooh, ah. But also because her life gets upgraded. It is not a punishment. There's romance, and there's war, and there's a lot happening in this story. I think I'm on the third book, like the pink fuchsia one. I think it's A Court of Wings and Ruins. So I finished the second book. Thumbs up. I'll talk about that in like my reading wrap up for next month, I think. I'm hoping to finish this series in the month of January, but we'll see. The Court of Wings and Ruins and A Court of Silver Flame, both of those books are thick. So I might be a little ambitious to think that I'm going to get through both of those in the month of January, but we'll see. Like, it's good to have goals. It's good to have dreams. Next is the Shatter series. So I have only finished this first book so far, which I loved. Again, I will link the review that I did when I did my monthly wrap up for whatever month I read this in. I think it was September, October, I don't know, I don't remember, but I'll link it. But this is a dystopian world, and there's like a new government that has been established, and the main character, I think her name is Juliet. It's been a while since I read this, but Juliet, she basically has the ability to like kill people when she touches them. So the government wants to use her as like a weapon, and obviously she doesn't want to be used as a weapon, so she's trying to like escape and get away from them. And there's a little bit of romance that has developed thus far. Don't really know where it's going because I haven't read anything past this book. I started reading the novella that comes after this. I think it's Destroy Me. I started reading that, but I haven't finished it. It's not long. I just moved, like I jumped around and started reading some other things and just never went back to it. So I do plan on going back to that and finishing that. It's literally only like 100 pages or something, or 150 pages, I don't remember. It's really short. But I will eventually get to that. There were just other things in my TBR that I wanted to get to sooner. And I know that this series is pretty long. So this will be something that I do hopefully finish at some point in 2023. The next book is a series that I actually have not started yet, and that is The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Because I have not read this, I don't fully know what it's about. I think it's about a girl, I don't even know what her name is, but it's some girl who, like, some old dude dies, and like he basically gives all of his like assets or his estate or whatever to this girl who doesn't even know him or doesn't think that she knows him. Like, everybody's confused why he left everything to this girl, because he had a whole family. He didn't leave it to them. He left it to this like random stranger. So I think the first book is supposed to be like you trying to figure out like why she was chosen to inherit all of his stuff instead of him giving it to his family. Like, what is the connection here? So it sounds really good. I've heard that this book has been compared to Knives Out, which is a movie that I have not seen, so I don't know. Not only have I not read the book, so I don't know if that's true, I also have not seen that movie, so I don't know if it's true. But if you're interested, if you like that movie and you've seen it, then this may be a book that you might want to check out if you haven't already. Next is another book, or manga in this case, that I also have not started the series yet, but have the first book, and that is Spy Family. So this book, I don't know exactly what this is about. I mean, obviously it's about a spy family, but I don't know like the details of it, so I'm just going to read the back because the synopsis is pretty short. It says, Master Spy Twilight is unparalleled when it comes to going undercover on dangerous missions for the betterment of the world. but when he receives the ultimate assignment to get married and have a kid, he may finally be in over his head. Not one to depend on others, Twilight has his work cut out for him, procuring both a wife and a child for his mission to infiltrate an elite private school. What he doesn't know is that the wife he's chosen is an assassin and the child he's adopted is a telepath. Now I understand why people love this and why this is so highly spoken of, because this sounds awesome. So I don't know how many there are in this. Like, the Inheritance game is a trilogy. Shatter Me, I don't remember how many freaking books are in that series. It's a lot. And then Court of Thorns and Roses is red, green, pink, blue, silver. 5? I know there's at least 8 of these, but I don't know if the 8th one is the last one or if there's more after that. So yeah, I am excited to get to this, and it's pretty short. So I'm thinking that this should be like a pretty easy read. So I'm looking forward to this. It sounds like it's going to be a riot. So really excited to get to this at some point next year. So the next 2 are kind of connected, and once you see the first one, then you'll know what the second one is going to be. The first one is Shadow and Bone. Don't know what this is about, but I've heard really good things. Well, I've heard relatively good things about it. The reason why I have this book is because I actually wanted to read this book, Six of Crows. Both of these are by Leigh Bardugo. Did I say that name right? Yeah, Leigh Bardugo. I wanted to read this one. This, I have heard really good things about it. I don't really know too many people that have read this that didn't have good things to say about it. And this is a trilogy, this is a duology, and this comes first. And technically I've heard that you don't have to read this to read this, but also it's me, so yes, I do have to read this to read this. So I've heard very mixed things about this series, but I do want to check it out. I do want to read it. Hopefully I like it more than people who gave it a so-so rating. It's not like I'm well versed or super immersed in the fantasy genre, so I feel like it's not hard to please me when it comes to fantasy, so hopefully I'll like it, but I don't know, we'll see. But this is the book that I actually want to get to, the Six of Crows duology, because I've heard nothing but good things about this. Moving on, we are actually zooming through this list. Well, actually I haven't edited this yet, so I don't know how long this video is, but in filming it, we're zooming through this list. And next I have Dance of Thieves, right? Dance of Thieves? Yeah, Dance of Thieves. This is by Mary E. Pearson. I don't know what this is about either. I think I was watching a Haley fan blog or something, and she rated this book super highly and had really great things to say about it. I have no idea what this is about, and I'm not even gonna bother reading the back of this because I think I read the back of this in a different video, and I think it was a haul video. A cat and mouse game of false moves ensues, bringing them intimately together in a battle that may cost them their lives and their hearts. That doesn't really tell you much about the book. I have no idea what this is about. That told me absolutely nothing. The synopsis didn't help explain to me what this book is about, so I have no idea, but I want to read it because I've heard really good things about it. Next, and this cover is a mess, did not take care of this book very well, but next is Death Note. So this is the first book in Death Note. I don't remember how many of these there are. And this is volumes 1 and 2 in this one book. And this story follows, what's his name, Light. He found a notebook, and there's all these instructions on it, and there's rules and stuff on how to use the notebook, but basically the gist of it, the very simplified, watered down version is you write somebody's name down in the notebook and that person dies. Now there are rules and things that you have to follow, and there's a certain way you have to do it to get it to work, and there are some exceptions and ways, loopholes or whatever, but that's the gist of it. So he starts using the book to kill murderers and people that are in jail or on death row for really heinous crimes. But then he gets this god complex. Feels like he's just so righteous and he's creating a better world, but it's you still are murdering people, so there's that, but we'll put a pin in that and come back to it. So there's also a private investigator that I think Interpol or whoever has hired to help them track down who's doing this, who's committing these murders basically. And the private investigator's name is Elle. They're kind of just going back and forth, where it's Elle will do something and catch Light off guard, trip him up, and then Light will do something that throws Elle for a loop. Light is trying to not be detected but also keep doing what he's doing, and he also has this god complex where he thinks that he's just so smart. And then you have Elle, who's also really smart. It's you're not as smart as you thought you were. So it's a fun, interesting story. So this is another series that I definitely would like to finish by the end of 2023. And last but not least, Schoolmates? Is that what it's called? I don't even know what the series is called, guys. So funny story. The book that I have, it's called The Last Graduate by Naomi, what's her last name? Novik. But this is actually the second book in the series, which I didn't know. So yeah, there's that. It's part of the Scholomance, I guess is how you say it, series. I don't want to read like the actual synopsis because that's how I messed up when I read One of Us Is Next or One of Us Is Lying or whatever, because I accidentally read the synopsis for the second book and that spoiled the first book for me, which may have something to do with why I didn't rate it as highly, because I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but there were certain things that I already knew were or were not going to happen because I read the synopsis of the second book. So I am not going to read the synopsis of this book and risk ruining the first book for me. And the first book is called A Deadly Education. So I will at some point get that book so I can actually start the series. But for now, this is all I have from the series. But I did want to include this because I do want to read this. I'm pretty sure this has something to do with like witches and like a school, like academic setting, which I'm obsessed with. Like, even though Legacies was not a great show, witches in school, or like what was that show on Netflix, like The Code or something, like witches in school. Like I'm a sucker for witches in school. Like even like what season was that? It was like an American Horror Stories season. It might have been season, oh god, I mean there was Coven, which was fantastic, probably my favorite season, but then there was another one. It might have been the Apocalypse season. But yeah, I love witches in school. And so yeah, you guys have made it to the end of this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you got any recommendations of books that you think you might want to check out after watching this video, let me know down below. If you have any of these books and have read any of them, let me know that down below as well and what you thought about them, but no spoilers of course. And as always, my social media, Goodreads, Amazon, all that kind of stuff will be down below in the description box. Do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. This is a series that I have not started.